Good evening, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joining me most nights now, we have Digger Jim all the way over there to the left. Jim, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good. Got all my pre-work stuff done. Wife's like, we got to go to the store. I'm like, we got to hurry. I got 8 o'clock show. She's like, oh, you famous people. So I pushed her through the grocery store and said, let's get it done.
Get out of my way, woman. All right, and making his triumphant return, we have none other than Mr. Rob Fat Stacks of Comics himself. Rob, how you doing tonight, sir?
The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. No, I'm good. I actually have about an hour tonight. I thought, why not? I'd come back and remind myself what it was like to be with Gary, and to make sure that you knew that I still love you, buddy.
And later tonight, those nightmares will return to him. Wake up in a cold sweat.
You're right.
All right.
Crying into my pillow.
Cold sweat. We have Mr. Cliff on comics. Cliff, how you doing tonight, sir?
I am just being here. I'd love to say that I came back to remind you that I still care, and I do still care, but I'm really here for Nate.
Oh, that's okay. And of course, a great segue. Our guest of honor tonight, first time on the show, we have Nate from Hall Yeah Comics. Nate, great to see you, sir. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
It'll be fun. So as we like to do on this show, Nate, first, give the quick introduction of yourself. Who are you? Where can people find you? What your channel's about? We'll go say hi to the audience, and then we'll come right back to you for your first book.
All right, sounds good. My name's Nate. My channel's called Hall Yeah Comics. I started it pretty close to a year ago. I collect a lot of eclectic things when it comes, like, not just comic books, but my channel is comic book focused, but my comic book collection's pretty scattered. I tried really hard. I think I kind of focused for my 10, which was grueling to come up with, but so I mainly like DC characters. I dip my toe into Marvel every now and again, but it's DC and Marvel for me. I like really silly stuff. I host a Sunday show with Hagen from Lettuce Comics at 9:30 a.m. We actually won't be on this Sunday because we're doing a real life meetup in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice.
But other than that, you can find me there. Find me Sunday mornings. I try to put out a video a week. Just random stuff, and host the occasional Sunday stream, and then I get invited on cool stuff like this, and I get to meet new people, and it's awesome.
Nice. And that's part of what this show's about, meeting new people. I hadn't met you yet. I'm like, oh, no better way to meet them than to have them on the show.
Awesome. Yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah, that, and I got Side Quest coming on soon. I'll have to reach out to Lettuce and get him on board.
Yeah, great guys.
But of course, let's say hi to our chat real quick. We have Steve White, who will be returning in April as a co-host as well. Speaking of Side Quest Comics, good evening, sir. Great to see you. Hulk Collector Kevin, how you doing, Kevin? Hope everything's well with you, sir. Always great to see you. We have Matt Likes Comics. Good evening, sir. Mr. Mark Andrews. G'day, Mark. Lettuce Comics himself right there. Good evening. Nice to see you. Big Nasty Comics, who is coming up soon for his first 10-1-1. Brian LCS. Good evening, Brian. Mr. Steve Driscoll. Good evening, Steve. One of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. How you doing tonight, Jerry? Great to see you, bud. And we have Cliff on Comics saying hello to everybody. And come on, you can work this. There we go. KDBM, good evening, sir. Great to see you. Mad Spidey, always a pleasure, bud. Hope you're doing well over there.
Spidey.
And damn it, every time I see Spidey, I just want to have some more Vegemite on my toast. I'm one of the Americans that likes the Vegemite.
I have never even seen it, like, in real life. I only know it from the Men at Work song.
That's right.
Thank you, sir. I will sub you right back up. And everyone that's on this panel, their links are in the description below. I have to add Rob in after the show, but all their links are in the description below. So go sub them up and catch all their shows. Cliff does like 17 shows a week. Rob's just a little behind him at 15, 16 shows a week, but his feature show is on Saturdays, and that is Only
Slabs. Yeah,
I almost said the old one, Rob. I had to catch myself.
I thought so, but you know what? That's okay.
But Only Slabs. And Rob, who is your guest this Saturday coming up?
Patron of comic art.
Nice. Eventually is a wee bit different. But Nate, we're here for you tonight, sir. So I will keep giving a tip of the hat to people as they come in.
Sure.
But let's see what you got lined up for us, sir. Start out with number one.
All right. So like I said, this was I trying to pick 10 books out of your collection. Like I think when I started, like I just did kind of a quick poll, and I think I had about 45 books. So
Nice.
I got myself down to the 10 and and the 1 and the 1. And I think I did fine. But I'm looking at my reject pile over there. Like I should. So maybe I'll do a last second swap or something. But I'm going to start with a childhood book. Something that I have had since I was probably 13-ish years old, a character that really matters to me a lot, and that is Barry Allen the Flash, and that is Crisis on Infinite Earths number 8, Death of Barry Allen. So I started like I said, as a kid, my dad is a leather crafter and a small business guy, and so we would do all these shows, and one of the shows that we did, there was a comic book vendor, and this guy had so much Flash. Like there was Flash and Spider-Man, and those were the two I was just buying the hell out of at this show. And so as I read all these Flash at that time, it was older Silver Age stuff, and then I'm like, I find out that he's dead. And I'm like, what? Why did no one tell me? So it just like sent me down this reading Crisis is what just opened up the DCU for me. Because I wasn't.
He gets better.
He did get better. But the reason this had such an impact was because Barry was dead for so long. Like,
right.
His character, a big part of his character was that he sacrificed himself to save the universe. And I just thought that was so badass, that they stuck with it as long as they did. I still kind of wish it was, back then it was like there's 3 characters that they'll never bring back. Bucky, Barry Allen, and Uncle Ben. And at least 2 of those 3 are back now, So,
right.
But for a long time, that impact was there. And this book, and Cliff, I know how you feel about number 7, the Supergirl cover. But this one was most impactful for me because of the character.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask you, who is your favorite? And this includes animated and live action. Who is your favorite Barry actor?
John
Could be a
Wesley
voice actor,
Shipp.
could be live action. Yeah. What's that?
I got to go with the 90s show, man. John Wesley Shipp.
That John Wesley Shipp is always a great answer.
Yeah.
We all love that show. And even though it was just great.
He's the best Flash, period, because he's all the Flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, right?
It was kind of an amalgamation for sure of all of the Flashes. And I just, I don't know. I really liked that show. Especially for TV of the 90s, man. What a look, they really put, I watched it not too long ago because I have it on DVD and I wanted to show my son. I always really liked Michael Rosenbaum's voice as the Flash on the Justice League animated, well. But he was Wally. He was not.
Now, do you have the comic of the Flash TV show? Because that's a fun one.
You know what? I did, and I don't know where it is. You're talking about that special?
Yes.
Yeah, I had that for years, and that's one that I realized I don't know where that, like, I haven't seen it, and so I'm wondering if it's one of the books that along the way I've lost, and if so, that's really disappointing because I have, even when I've sold things over the years, I've maintained my Flash collection. I've never gotten rid of anything.
Right.
So I don't know where it went, if it's just misplaced, but I know what you're talking about. I bought that. I bought anything that had to do with the Flash or Batman 89, any of those. That stuff was like that stuff was pivotal when I was
Right.
really
what
starting
else
to
I
get
really
into
liked that never got enough credit was the Birds of Prey series.
Yeah.
I never watched that one, but I heard
It was
it
good. And of course you had I'm gonna blank on her name now. She's so good. Dina Meyer.
Yeah.
And she was Oracle. Yeah.
Yes.
But you had a few scenes of her in the Batgirl costume, and she looked amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that actress a lot.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Dizzy.
Come on.
Troopers.
Always the right choice, Dizzy.
Yeah.
And Dina Meyer is still gorgeous today.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, number 2, sir.
Okay, number 2. So, like I said, my collection's pretty like out there and weird, but I really did kind of I went normie for this one. Like I went with ones that are really important to me that I've picked up for different reasons. And this one is a character that Cliff and I both love. So this is my Uncanny X-Men number 130, first appearance of Dazzler.
Nice.
This
there might be
is
someone else here that likes her.
Oh, who
Yeah.
else? Who else is a Dazzler?
Oh,
Jerry.
me. I have that signed by Jim Shooter.
Nice. So my copy is bad. You can't really see it, but I promise
Oh, the top is shot to hell. I can see that from here.
Yeah, it's beat. But I was able to get it so cheap and check it off the list, And after a con just last Sunday, I am now one book away from having the whole Dazzler, the 1 to 42, which has been really fun to hunt down in the wild. Like I know I can go online and grab it, but that's not the point.
And you got to get the 4-issue miniseries that followed it, Beauty and the Beast, with her and Beast.
I have it.
Okay.
I have it.
Did
I have
you get
that.
the Marvel movie graphic novel too?
I have
Dazzler
it.
the movie?
Oh, it's okay. Can we talk about that? I mean, do you like that? That was so bad.
It was horrible, but I have it because I'm a Dazzler collector. So I had that graphic novel over there, but you're expecting all this superhero action. It was just a weird story.
It's so if you think about if you ever saw there was a Spider-Man live action TV show and they had like a Doctor Strange movie, and then of course you had in the Hulk show you had the Daredevil Thor thing, like
right.
It almost fits like what Marvel was doing at that time, like trying to still just make I don't know what, but yeah, that Dazzler movie is like she there's no costume. She never she dazzles like one time, which is probably the best scene in the whole.
And they
thing.
draw her like she's like she hasn't even eaten a cheeseburger in the last year.
It's so bad. Like she starts
But
dating.
the cover's gorgeous.
It's amazing. It's such a good.
Like
cover.
you see that cover and you're ready to dip inside, and you get inside like, oh.
Yeah.
That's what they did to Dazzler in that book. What they did to Carol Danvers in Avengers 200, they just treated her bad.
Yeah. It was so bad. Like they did like I'm so glad that movie never got made. I can't believe it. But yeah. So I don't know if I said I got this for $20 at a show.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a good deal.
It like I said, it's super beat up, but when everyone's trying to get $200 for it, and I have a facsimile, I'm not looking for big money or any, I'm not going to sell it. I just want it. So that was a good purchase. And I got that last year. I didn't think I'd be able to find it.
I paid $60 for mine.
I paid 40 cents for mine. 40 cents. And it is well loved. It probably looks a lot like yours, but when it came out, I paid 40 cents.
That's awesome.
I'm happy with it. Why buy another one? I got a 40-cent one over here. I can look at it anytime. I'm good.
Exactly.
And I think just one of the best covers, man. That cover is so great.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, she like right from the get-go, this is her first appearance. You've got it all. You've got the disco jumpsuit, you got the roller skates, and she is dazzling the hell out of everybody. And I just dig that. Like, look at Cyclops. He's
that Shooter? I don't know. Should I? Maybe.
Nightcrawler. No, nobody can contain how dazzled.
And I don't know if you read it,
yeah.
Nate, but that Exterminator series last year was really good. That 6-issue series with her.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
That series was fantastic. Her last series, not so good. The series before it, Exterminator is great.
That 4-issue series made me so mad, but that's neither here nor there. It's just I was really excited, and it just that they were going to do a modern Dazzler. Exterminators.
They did a couple of interesting things there. Maybe they didn't take it seriously enough, and that is why it failed a little.
That series, the writer was way more concerned with making sure they got to write a song for every issue than telling the story.
Exactly.
By the way, the only thing that hurts about writing a song every issue is where's the goddamn link? Like, let's put a scan so I can hear the freaking Dazzler music.
Right.
That's what I want. Give me that Dazzler music.
Epic fail. They didn't do that.
It was not well done.
I was so disappointed with that series. I was like, man, they could have did so much more.
For what it's worth, though, to salvage anything, there are some amazing covers and
yes.
variant covers for that series. Terry Dotson's covers were so good. So, I mean, at least there was some good art to come out of it. But yeah, as a story,
Dotson's always one of my favorites.
Me too.
I just
can't
picked
see
up
myself
the Satana
rereading
cover
it.
for this week. So good.
What's that?
Said I just picked up the Dodson Satana cover for this week.
Oh yeah, that was a good cover. That was a good cover. That's another one I wasn't super impressed with, but I'll probably at least get the second issue.
So number 3, sir.
All right, number 3, another book I did not think I would add to my collection last year, and this one's in considerably better shape than the last one, but still kind of beat up. Because Barry Allen's one of my favorites and Superman is another one of my favorites, I wanted to get all the books where they raced. And so this is Superman 199.
Nice.
I see this, it's not a big money book or anything, but it's always more than I want to pay.
Right, but it's an iconic cover.
It's an iconic cover. And I feel like whenever you see it, like this side especially, the spine will be all beat up where the guy's bullet is, and mine is in pretty good shape as far as that goes. So I'm really happy with the condition. Again, $25 is what I spent, which was I think half of what I should have paid for the condition it's in. So when I saw it, I already had a pretty full stack at the comic shop, and they just bought this giant Superman collection. And I was like, I took that immediately.
Right.
I got mine for $25, but I was also 20 at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I got this last year. And I've been hunting it for a while. I've been stocking auctions on it, trying to, again, I felt like 50 could be fair if it was in good shape, but it's a hard one to find.
I mean, Silver Age Superman is popping right now. The prices are rising pretty quick for Silver Age Superman.
And as a Silver Age Superman collector, that sucks, but I get it. I get it, but I was finding books for seriously like $3 and $4 all the time. Superman books, 12 centers, early 60s, and not in the best shape, but readable and still, staples attached and stuff. And now, I just went to that con last weekend and everything's $10 now. Everything's doubled in price because, they're making a Superman movie. And if it's got crypto on the cover, forget it. Forget it.
Now's your time to buy the Aquaman.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're the Supergirl, everything with Supergirl on the cover is popping now too.
Yep, it sure is. And that's, I'm on the one hand, I am glad because those are characters that I like and I want to see them appreciated more. I just want to be grandfathered in and get my cheap buy.
That should be a thing, right? You're grandfathered in. You got your card.
I want to have my punch. No, I got the punch card. I've got 7 long boxes down here. I've
been collecting a while,
So yeah, I love Silver Age Superman stories. They're so ridiculous. I mean, this one, it as an example, like 2 rival gangs are trying to use the race to pull off crime. Like, it's Superman and the Flash, just go do your crime. They're having a race. It's such a wacky plot, but I love it. Are you ready for number 4?
I am ready for number 4. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. This one, I like books with character. I like books that have a date stamp. This one's kind of chewed up at the top a little bit, but it's got a nice subscriber crease down the middle. Ooh. This book set me off on, I love to collect, and Silver Age DC is a great place for this. Books with body horror or like body transformation, things where, people get turned into something. And I just freaking love that. And it started with Flash number 177, the big head Flash.
Gosh.
So
I had never seen that cover.
So this is the first I saw this on someone's wall at a show and just thought it was the weirdest thing I had ever seen. And I can't remember what they had on it, but it was one of those things that it was a small show, so you kept walking by the same places. Yeah. And after I saw it the 3rd time, I do love Barry Allen Flash, but I had never seen this cover before either. And I was just like, yeah, I'll, whatever. It was probably $20. I'm sure I overpaid for it. But I don't care. Like I said, it kind of awakened something within me that I was like, now I was going to, because DC is always doing this. They make Superman fat, or they melt somebody, or
Yeah.
they turn him into an animal. Like it happens every other issue because that was just kind of one of their modus
Wacky
operandi.
things.
Right? And not
Yeah,
a very
and-
aerodynamic head for a fast guy.
No,
They
and
really messed with Superman. A lot of issues of Superman. There's always
Yes.
something going on.
and that's
He's
what got
turned
me
into
so
old.
in. Yes, that's what got me so into Superman was like they even took it a step further with the Superman stories. It's always an imaginary story. That way
Right.
they can really go crazy. Like it didn't
Right.
even happen, but it could. But yeah, in this, I can't remember who it is, the villain. It's been so long since I've read it, but the villain, basically is what makes Flash's head big, but he doesn't know it when he's running around the city. He's just going slower and people are looking at him. He's like, why is everybody looking at me funny? Which just makes it more ridiculous because it's enormous. Like his head looks
It's
like a
big.
balloon. And at some point, they drew this and they showed it to the editors. They're like, this is the cover. And they were like, great, run that.
Right?
It's like the leader. It's like the size of the leader or something.
It is. It's crazy.
Oh my
But
God.
you notice though, they didn't have his suit ripped. They just let his suit stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it fits in that little ring, It's made of what?
my God.
Unstable molecules or something.
Right.
The retcon later. So Cliff, I think you'll dig this next one too. What are we up to here? Number 5?
Dig it all.
5.
All right. So this is
Yeah.
another Silver Age DC. This is not a first appearance, but it's a really cool and wacky Silver Age origin. So Action Comics 293, the origin of Comet the Super Horse.
Oh, nice.
So Comet the Super Horse is he's not a horse. He was a centaur who wanted to become a human, and Cersei gives him the wrong potion that turns him into a horse. And the whole time that he's a horse and Supergirl is riding him, he's really a human that loves her.
I
And
bet he is.
Yeah.
Right?
He's not always a horse, right? So
Correct.
then he's what is he? He's like a cowboy rodeo star.
No, not by day. When a comet is within a certain distance of Earth, he becomes all human instead of all horse. And damn it, I just blanked on his name. But yeah, he has a cowboy like name and a cowboy secret identity. And when he's in the League of Super Pets, like they all know his story and they all keep it secret from the other like team members and things. Like the fact that the horse has a secret. Bronco Bill. There we go.
Bill.
Yeah, Byron is his centaur name. And Bronco and Supergirl loves Bronco Bill. Like she thinks.
Oh, I bet he does. I bet he's hung like a horse.
Yeah, she thinks he's a dreamboat.
And she's always riding him.
Always.
She like 15 there or something. Come on.
That's in Krypton years.
Oh, okay. Krypton.
Planet was closer to the sun.
Yeah,
It's so awful because it is just this horrible trope for Supergirl to have all these boyfriends that nothing goes on with. And then, of course, when they killed her in Crisis, they had to make sure to tell a story in Superman where she was on another planet, fell in love, got married, had sex, and then went off to die in the Crisis.
Great. Yeah,
Priorities, Cliff. Priorities.
I always hated, like, Supergirl comes to Earth and she says, she meets her cousin. Literally, they're the last two of their kind. And she's like, oh my God, I was there. The whole planet exploded. Everybody's dead, but I found you. So you're going to let me live with you, right? And he's like, no, I can't. I have a secret identity. You're going to go to an orphanage.
Right.
Like that. It's so bad. Like,
and you're going to be my secret weapon.
Right. Right. I need you to stay in training just in case something happens to me. Then I'm going to put everything at your feet, but I'm not going to do anything for you right now. That's
right.
Yeah. The Superman of the 50s was an a-hole.
Right. But that's one of the best things about like the Silver Age DC covers of Superman. You always had Superman being a dick in some way. And so many of them.
Him and the Jimmy Olsen series, like him and Jimmy just back and forth constantly doing, Jimmy sold my secret identity. Jimmy fed me a bowl of kryptonite. I'm going to stop Jimmy from being adopted. I'm putting Jimmy in jail.
Right.
Yeah. it was
burning
every
all
other
the gifts in front of him.
every other cover was one of them doing something to the other. Which was great.
Just they had the worst covers of him mistreating Lois all the time.
Oh, popping her air hose while she was in space. I like it's a Neil Adams where Superman's got the water. He's just pouring out. He won't let Aquaman or Jimmy have a drink in the desert. You two can die of thirst. So
Matt Likes Comics said he has that issue, and it's Superman 415, and that is correct. Supergirl's on the cover while Superman's looking like in a sphere, and her and like her lover are there. He's finding out about this.
And Horse Dude was back in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
yes. And
although I'm pretty sure modern Comet is not as convoluted as
I don't exactly know what the story is with like current Comet or the Comet from that. I wonder if that's going to be a part of the movie at all, because it's actually kind of a confusing part of the story. If you don't know anything about Supergirl, it's like, why is she riding this horse? But I don't know. I don't know if I'm excited for that.
Have
movie.
a horse.
It's a
They
thing.
don't want a pony.
All right, this is going to be my last Silver Age DC.
Okay.
So, but this is an important book to me. This is not like, I don't, this is not a key of any kind. This is meaningless, but I love this book.
Well, that's okay. That's what this show's about. Things that are
Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 54. This is a character called Herco, who this is just a random issue of Lois Lane that when I picked it up really cheap, and when I read it, it was some of the silliest stuff I've ever read, and it put me down this rabbit hole of collecting Lois Lane. So this book is important to me because it like showed me that this could be a lot of fun. So in this, like this character here, Herco, he comes from another. Lois is always getting sent to interview scientists. Like that's what she does all the time. Right. And the scientists always have a machine that causes some kind of problem, and Lois is in the middle of it. So in this one, the scientist opens up a portal and this creature comes out, and he's in love with Lois. And they, she's like trying to protect him a little bit. Every time Superman comes in, Herco beats the crap out of Superman because he's in love with Lois. Like, he's bending this street light into a ring to give her because Herco wants to marry her. And it was just a really funny story. And there's 3 stories in here, and every last one of them was such a hoot that I just started picking up Lois Lanes whenever I could. And hopefully these stay cheap, even though I picked up a couple last week, and I think I paid, $5, $6, $10 for some really early ones. But like, there are these really old books that are still fun to read that you don't have to break the bank. If you try to go back and find, Marvel books from this era, I don't know what it is. Like, Marvel put out a lot of books too, but I don't find books like, of this age cheap ever. DC, you find them cheap all the time. You find such weird titles like, Lois Lane or Sugar and Spike or, just.
Right. And that's a good looking yellow cover too.
Yeah, that's crispy looking.
It's not in bad shape, but I got this in a Whatnot auction. As it, and it was like the reason I grabbed it was because it was cheap and I already had a stack going from somebody, and so I grabbed it. But yeah, this set me on a journey of just picking up pretty much any Superman family related Silver Age DC I could find.
Now the question is though, is at that time period, who was the furry at DC that kept putting the women with horses and apes and stuff?
I know.
It was
any of them. They were all a bunch of perverts. Look what they did to Dazzler. Look how they treated their women. Look how they treated Sue. Look how they treated Lois. It's all the same.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
How many times did Black Widow get her butt slapped?
Or just like one of the best bad reads out there is Lady Cop.
Oh, yes. I looked for that. That's one of the first issue specials I'm missing. And yeah, I mean, so bad. I want to own it. I want to own it. It's so bizarre. All right, now we're going to get into the other half of my collection, which is independent books. And again, like I kept it kind of serious. And up there, Eric from SideQuest, he was like, Nightcat. Maybe in the next one I'll get weird and break out things like Nightcat. But for this one, like I said, I'm keeping it kind of like more books that were like really impactful and books I think are really cool. This one here is another childhood book. I remember buying this at Chicago Comic-Con. This is my first printing of the Tick #1. I paid $18 for this in 1990s dollars. I don't know what it's worth now. I don't care because I'll never get rid of it. This is one of my favorite series of all time. Ben Edlund, his artwork on the Tick, like the way it evolved and just became this. It just really was one of the defining 80s, 90s black and white books to me. And I think this was superhero parody done so well. And it doesn't matter like, oh man, there's some fans in here. All right. I don't care. Like every show and cartoon has been good in its own right.
They have.
The cartoon was amazing.
It's such a damn shame that it just never can seem to find its feet and keep going.
So zany and fun.
Yeah, I thought the Amazon Prime series, it was very different, but I loved it. I really loved it.
I got to interview the cast. I loved it. And then of course, it was my death knell. I got to interview the cast and then they canceled it.
Did you see Amazon? Oh, you talked to Cliff? We're gonna have to work it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Done.
We always give him at the end there. We just give him at the end.
We thought you were better at decision making than that.
I was so happy. I had such a good time with them. And boom.
Well, they did such a good job too in that first season where like, was the Tick real or what was Arthur just crazy? Which you know, it doesn't follow the comics, but I loved it. It was an interesting take, and it all felt like it was done you know, with respect to the series. It wasn't, they weren't just making up their own thing. They were just coming up with a different way to do it. So I just love that character. I still if I see a Tick book that I don't own or something from New England Press, I will pick it up.
Right.
I have a ton of their stuff, but nothing has ever compared to that original like 12/13 issue run. It took what, 8 years or so for him to complete. It was forever. I mean, I worked at a comic book store and issue 12 was on the like, you know, it was on the coming out list for years. It was such a joke that, you know, it was never actually going to hit the wall. Along with the Tick, the other most important parody 1980s black and white book to me is Flaming Carrot. So this is Flaming Carrot #1. This is the one from Aardvark Vanheim. There is a #1 that is way more rare. I can't remember who published that one. But anyway, that one was like a sort of a one shot. I think it was the same story as this. And then when Aardvark Vanheim picked it up, it became an ongoing. And then it went to, I want to say it went through Kitchen Sink Press. And then it went through like the numbers stayed, but the publisher changed like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So this was Bob Burden is, if you've never read The Flaming Carrot, it's a very surreal book. Like it does not take place in any kind of realistic world. Flaming Carrot he lives in a place called Iron City, which most of the time just feels like a small town or a suburb. And as a character, he doesn't have a secret identity, but he is just a human in a carrot suit. He read 5,000 comic books in one setting, and it made him insane. And so he became a superhero, and he's always coming across like, you know, interdimensional things, ghost dogs, jungle women, the list goes on, but it's always a hysterical read. If you remember the 90s movie Mystery Men, that was they were from the Flaming Carrot, and the Flaming Carrot was a member of their team. One of my favorite storylines from this was he's with the Mystery Men, and there's this group of villains that cloned Hitler's feet, and so it's happening in like Dayton, Ohio. So they go to Dayton, Ohio to fight Hitler's feet, but they got to get a hotel room. And when they get a hotel room, they all get drunk and party, and they pick up a bunch of women. They don't do anything. And they tear the hell up out of this hotel, and they spend the whole issue getting drunk. The next day, all of Hitler's feet are out in their boots, and then it rains, and the feet drown in the boots. The mystery men do nothing. Like, they don't stop it at all. It just rains, and the feet drown. And the story was called, it was one of those things where it's just like, holy crap. How is this a book that, compare it to like the books that were coming out at the time in the 90s, like the Superman, Batman, all that extreme image stuff. And then here's somebody having an absolute surreal time. So this was just something else that like, I love the different genres and all these different stories that can be told within this medium. And so this book is a really important one to me. And I'm trying to put I'm sorry.
I said insanity ensues.
Yes. That's right. Okay. Brother John says it was Aardvark Van Hyman Renegade Press, not Kitchen Sink.
Does a toe have a nose?
All right. I got two more. And this next one is incredible for a lot of reasons. One, I used to own it, and it's one of the ones that I sold back in the day for 1990s dollars and have heavily regretted ever since. Number two, it's a gift from that guy right there. Dope from Dope Comics is the gentleman who kindly replaced this into my collection and sent it to me.
Nice.
And it is an insane book. Like, I'm still like floored when I look at it.
All right. Dope's got an insane collection.
He has an insane collection, and he is an insanely cool and generous person. I love him. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #4, the first print. And so I don't know what else to say about this. This book is freaking awesome. Back in the day,
or what?
I had one, like, I want to say I had like 1 through 6, I didn't have a first printing of #1. I think my #1 was a third printing. And I sold them when I was moving, like, I'm not going to take, and I was, I was in my early 20s, and it's like, I'm done with this childish crap. Of everything I've ever sold over the years, this has been my biggest regret. Not even because of the money, like, that it's worth. It's because these books were so freaking cool.
They were. The Black and White Turtles is fantastic. It's so dark, so gritty, and
so
it was just
much.
good.
Yes, I loved these stories, and I felt like this was a series that really opened up the market for other books. Otherwise we would be kind of stuck with your generic superhero stuff. And I know that they're turtles and they're New York and they do those stories, but also they go to space and fight space dinosaurs. Like, they got weird. So, to pick up these early ones now for somebody like me, it's just impossible. I mean, even if I had the opportunity, I wouldn't spend the kind of money that a lot of those books cost. And so, like I said, like, to get this, and he sent me a ton. He sent me a ton of turtle stuff. And it just floors me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it and how cool it is to have that back in the collection. And no joke, like, I get that one. I get those out every now and again and just flip through them. And I when he sent me those, I think that was like the most fun was getting to revisit those books that I haven't read. And I have some trades, but not all of them.
Right.
Not all the books are included in the trades anyway, because of certain right issues, and you don't always get the backup features. But just getting to sit and read those again, like, really sent me back to that early 90s, late 80s period where I was, where I grew up. I lived out in the country. So, like, my comics were kind of my escape. Didn't have internet, didn't have cable TV. It was reading and drawing and playing music. So,
and to this day too, I mean, comics still do that to me. I'll read one of my Bronze Age books, and it just takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. My #1 book is my, I don't know if I'd say it's my best pickup of last year, but it's damn cool. And it looks so good. And I'll have to tell you a little bit about why it's not as good as it looks, but it's incredible. Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge, Only a Poor Man. This is 4-color, number 384. First Uncle, or 386, sorry. First Uncle Scrooge, Carl Barks. The front cover is a beauty. The back cover has a tear from about here over to here, and it's got some water damage on it. but at that's where you can't see it, can you? Like
Yeah.
this looks good, and for what I paid for it and how I got it, I there's a toy store that had all these books, and I found this in a bin, like in a bin.
Wow.
And I was like, man, you can't keep this out on the floor. Little kids are gonna bend this in half, man. And he's like, I know, but it's got this tear on the back, and it's not in, he's like, I've got one that's pristine at home. I just want to sell it. And he knew that I had a YouTube channel and I was a collector and stuff, and he said he'd sell it to me for $150. And I mean, it wasn't on my radar, and that's a lot of money for me to spend, to be honest, but this is legitimately one of my favorite stories that I've ever read. The Only a Poor Man by Karl Barks is so good. Any Karl Barks is good, but this one in particular is just like, it's so good. And I put this and the Don Rosa Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck in the same kind of boat. Like, they just tell an incredible story about about somebody who happens to be a duck from Duckburg. So I'm not going to be picking these up. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not going to put this collection together, but this one kind of fell in my lap. And like I said, it's a book that I've read more than once, the entire story. And I don't know. I called my wife when I was at that. I was like, this dude wants to sell me this book. I said, I think it's worth at least twice this. And I said, it's a stupid thing to buy, but I think I'm going to buy it. And I can hear her sigh, like, but it's just like, I said, what do you think? She's like, you should probably do it because you'll kill yourself if
Right.
if
The
you
regret
miss that
alone would
opportunity.
get you.
yeah. And she's right. And it's another one. I have a facsimile of this one. I have the trade of the whole story, but I still get this book out every now and again and look at it because like that, just the history of what this book is and the time that it's from. It's just wild to see something that survived in this good of a shape.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like when, because I know this came from someone's personal collection.
Right.
I think what happened was, they were kids and they set it down and the back got wet and it tore. But after that, they did something with it and they kept it. And Dope's right. It's history. And that's the other thing. Like, whatever happened to the back of this book is part of this book's story. Like,
Right.
the person that damaged it, it was accidental, and they still loved it enough to take care of it, to keep it in this good a shape until it came to me. So I think it's freaking awesome. And
I
love
love
it.
the sentimentality that you have to shit of people you've never met, have no idea who they were or anything. I mean, I can't. Like, I'll be like flipping through a comic and I'm like, this is really a janky back corner. I hope this isn't someone's jizz. Like, that's as far as I ever go when I'm flipping through an old book. Also, and let me tell you, when they stink a certain way, then I start asking questions. I'm like, this one smells moldy. This one smells pissy. I'm like, man, they really fooled me with that dollar bin. No wonder this is such a good book in a dollar bin.
Well, I think there is a connection that we have as people who like this hobby, and wherever that book came from to get to you, you're a waypoint for it before it goes
Right.
to the next person. And I do wonder sometimes where a book was. And that's why when I get one that says like, Stevie wrote his name on the top over Superman, it doesn't bother me. Like, the book was for kids. And when a kid did something with a book, I'm like, that's great. This
That
kid
is
liked
so
this. And
sweet. My
I don't
collection dies with me.
You're burying it with you. Huh?
Yeah.
It's mausoleum time for Cliff.
And
I don't want to keep it all. Like, I want to be able to read it all. And then the things I want to read again are the things that I have personal sentimentality for, I want to keep.
right, and I think too, being a part of this community, the stuff you get from the community, like all these books you get from people that you don't expect, just they add their own importance to the books that they would have never had otherwise.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I have books that would not be books I collect, but because somebody gave it to me and told me why it was important to them, it's now important to me.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, Rob, you think Justin has that one?
Yes.
Oh, you've seen it? You think? Yeah, probably does. Justin Birch is huge Donald fan.
Well,
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck.
And Scrooge McDuck, yeah, for sure.
Right.
He's
And
got-
Jerry the Jitterbug as well.
I think
Yeah.
Man.
They're great
I
books.
think I've seen that book on Jerry's channel.
They are
But I know
absolutely
Jerry's a
great
big
stories.
Disney guy.
yeah.
All right. So you want to do your spec next or your personal storybook next?
Let's do the personal story. I mean,
right.
well, yeah, let's do the personal story. The spec books, I'm not a spec guy, so it was actually
Nobody ever is.
Right.
Nobody ever is.
Really
but
hard.
well, yeah, but I was. I'll explain that. So the book that has a personal story to me, I think barely has any value, and that's great because that means I get to put the value in it. And that is Justice League International, just Justice League #1. So this title,
Maxwell Lord.
that's right. This era of the Justice League International, Justice League Europe, everything that Keith Giffen and JMD Mateus were doing, I loved, and I grabbed all of it that I could. So I want to say I started reading this in the buying it off the rack in like the 30s, issue wise. And so this was I had gotten in the middle of a comic in that big yellow double page spread of Mile High Comics, books for $1, books for $2, and saved up my money and sent away, because back then that's how you did it. And I sent away for the run up to the point that I had started collecting, so that I could then be completely caught up. And I remember the day I got the package in the mail and I tore it open, and it felt like the amount of the amount of books that came out of that Mile High box was twice as wide as the box actually was. Like, how they got them all in there was insane. But to be able to sit there then and read from #1 to wherever it was I was at that point was just so cool. And it put me in I started collecting the Justice League Detroit era because I wanted to read more Martian Manhunter stories. And I was picking up I picked up the Dr. Fate that JMD Mateus was running, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Mr. Miracle, anything from this era.
Sure, you're not my brother. I mean, you just quoted the entire existence of what my brother has. I mean, like, he said, I got to read this, and I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. You keep it. Oh no, it's really good.
That art's fantastic, though.
Kevin Maguire is without a doubt my favorite artist because of this book. Like, the expressions that he put on the characters, that's
Yeah.
it. Like, that's why this book is so important to me. And I still I don't care what it is. If Kevin Maguire did a cover, I grab it. If Kevin Maguire did an interior, I grab it. I don't care what the story. He's one of the few people that I will buy for art, because I honestly buy to read. And that's why I liked this so much, was because it was so stupid fun. And a lot of people hated this era of the Justice League because it was stupid and fun. They wanted, and that's not wrong. Like, they aren't wrong to want legitimate big, Trinity Justice League stories. Those are fun too. But this era was really important to me, and it made all the characters important to me, and it made the DC universe at the time important to me. Like, this is post-crisis DCU, and I think that's when Cliff and I have a lot of our Venn diagram overlaps a lot with that. So
DC love is our Venn diagram overlap.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, you have a
right
can
here
of Superman pretzels behind you, and I have the same one in my bedroom.
right.
And
So
I have the same
Kevin
Superman coin thing too.
Kevin Maguire.
Oh, nice.
Kevin Maguire. Creature Commandos. Kevin Maguire. All from Baltimore Comic Con. He's signed there.
That's awesome.
There. Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't have any problem with his art. It just couldn't. I had read so much Justice League from, the 80s, and it was a different thing. And I just, I don't know. I mean, there was some stuff that my brother reads that I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good. Like, he wanted me to read the newer Mr. Miracle run, and I was like, all right, I'm going to pick this whole chunk up at Baltimore. Like, they were selling the whole chunk of it at Baltimore, and I was like, all right, I'm going to read this, and it was really good.
Yeah, the Mr. Miracle miniseries by Tom King is.
It was really.
I mean, the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow that he wrote is one of my favorite things ever, and that's I can't tell you if that's just below it or even. but the Mr.
Yeah.
Miracle was so good too. Yeah. I think me and your brother would get along really well, but I understand why
Yeah.
people like you who were more into a traditional Justice League book, when this came along, were like, what
Right.
the hell is this? Like, they should be calling this, Justice League Stooges and still give us Justice League America,
America,
which is,
right.
I get that too. I really do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They did write so many issues where they didn't fight anybody, and people would complain. They didn't even fight anybody. And I'm like, it was great. They didn't fight anybody. Like, it was all a matter of perspective.
Yeah, all character stuff, right?
Oh, Lord. That's funny.
They move into an embassy, and when they move into the embassy, Martian Manhunter's looking at them land the shuttle, and he's like, they don't really think they can land this on a brownstone in New York, do they? and then they do. Booster and Beetle landed on there. It crashes through the ceiling, and he's just looking at him, and he's like, I'm gonna go practice an ancient Martian meditation technique. And he's like, oh, really? What's that called? It's called screaming. He's like, can I join you? And so Maxwell Lord and then they go, and that's how the whole book was written. It was like watching a sitcom. And it just, but they did fight things occasionally, but really it was about the character relationships, and that's why I think it was so endearing to me, was because
it got better. It got better over time. There was a really bad period in the beginning.
Yeah, it was very.
The first 20 issues, there was a lot of everyone being stupid, including Batman and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Like that whole issue where they're mistreating Barda. Barda rescues them from Lobo because she's the badass that she is.
Yeah, she is.
And then Bruce uses being a multi-billionaire to be like, oh, we can renovate this neighborhood because we have all these powers to do it. And they throw something together that immediately collapses. And I'm like,
oh, yeah. I remember
that. You are terrible. The only part of this issue was written so that Barda's not terrible, and the rest of you are awful. Awful.
Well, that was an annual, wasn't it?
No, that's not even an annual. It's part one of the 2-part battle with Lobo, and Guy gets bonked in the head in the next issue.
Okay.
He's fighting Lobo.
I remember that one. That one is bad. But to be fair, I bought that one in a bulk run. So so it read quick.
Anyhow, they actually, like, Batman and Martian Manhunter actually get dumber. And then, of course, they get smarter when they realize we can't have them all behaving like this. But later on, when Maxwell Lord is like, I was manipulating them all the time. I was like, you bet he was, because they was dumb as shit in some of these issues. I'd rather believe that it was Maxwell Lord.
I hate the Max Lord retcon. But for my spec pick, what a great segue you gave me there, Cliff. The only time I've picked up a book just because it was cheap and I thought I could probably trade or flip this later. And I'm still holding out because the movie's coming out. But Omega Men #3, first appearance of Lobo. I got this for $25. And
nice.
it's
nice.
It's freaking, I mean, it's damn near perfect. There's not one tick on it. There's like the tiniest bit of scuffing down here on the edge, and I want to say just a little bit up here on the red. But other than that, man, this thing it's beautiful. It's perfect. I couldn't believe the condition. Again, it was an eBay auction, I think, and for whatever reason it wasn't going. And there were other books in the auction, so I put $25 on it. Like, this wasn't even, you know how sometimes they put out a lot of books and they don't even tell you what's in there. And I just saw, I saw this in the pictures. Like, if you didn't click on the auction, I don't even think you would have known this was in there.
Yeah, I do that too. Look at the lots and see if there's a key book in there.
Yeah. And this was just one of those times. And so I did it, and I was like, okay, $25. And then I forgot all about it. And like 2 days later, you won the auction and it came in the mail. So,
nice.
You know, when that Supergirl movie comes out, or whenever the peak time is for that, I'm going to trade that for something I care more about, like a Lois Lane.
and I am so curious how true the adaptation of the movie is going to be to the Tom King story.
I am too.
That year, that was one of my favorite stories I read.
It's
I've been reading
so
Tom King since that story because I just love his writing.
I do too. Some of the things he has done lately, I did not like the Ginny Sparks miniseries.
I didn't read that one actually.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't read that one either.
But his Wonder Woman's fantastic.
I've only read the first trade. It's one I wish I would have picked up. I don't like when DC did what was that relaunch at that time? Dawn of DC. That was one of the ones I didn't roll the dice on and wish I had, because I think I would have still stuck with it. But yeah, Tom King is Human Target, Mr. Miracle, and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow are 3 books I bought hardcover. Tom King's Danger Street is a book I don't own, but I want to. I read it from a trade at the library, but I just love that he looked at those first issue special, the weird ass characters, the dingbats, the dollar bill gang or whatever he put everybody from that in that series.
Right,
and it's such a random assortment, and I loved it. If you haven't read Tom King's run on Batman up until the very end, I really enjoyed that. He did a couple of issues like where he developed the character of Kite Man so well, and you root for Kite Man like you have never rooted for a D-list villain in your life. It was so good. Like it was awesome. So that
like HBO level good.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. I mean,
Nice.
it wasn't. I haven't watched the HBO show. I haven't watched the Harley Quinn show. I need to. I know. I've heard. I have. I have a 10-year-old son, so whenever trying to watch something that's too risque or too over the top, it makes it harder. And whenever my wife and I get a chance, it's usually we try to watch a horror movie because that's the thing that we miss the most is some good slasher and gore stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the books I brought today, and those were hard to whittle down to. And like I said, I felt like I could do 10 others that were the nonsense of my collection. But those are
this is just your first appearance on the show. We'll get you back for more.
And we didn't even talk about the anachronic comic clause where you really, in theory, if you have one and it connected to another one, you just show them both, or the 10 of them. I think that shows 50.
I told myself I wasn't going to do that. I was like, well, this could be one, and it was 4 books, right? This is my first one. These 4 books. That's number 1.
I did that for my first time here. I was
gonna play by the rules.
Yeah, I wanted to play by the rules, but I was having such a good time going down memory lane that I was like, it's screw it, I'm going down memory lane. It's gonna be great.
I know. That's how I was. But I did have fun. I did have fun pulling books and just having a chance to show off. What I think are those are cool books, right? Those are books other people want. Most of the books I have are books that I want. Other people don't like them.
Yeah, I'm that kind of collector too, so I completely understand. But that's what I love about being a niche collector is you can usually find what you're looking for and get it at a pretty reasonable price.
Oh yeah. So at the con last weekend, I got some of these weird later Steve Ditko books where he just kind of writes and draws some of the weirdest stuff you've ever seen. It doesn't really make sense. He had a philosophy that he had a philosophy that he followed. There's rumors that he had some mental issues. I know at one time Brian Michael Bendis, when he was writing Ultimate Spider-Man, went to talk with him and kind of get his blessing. Right. And he didn't say much about it, but Bendis had mentioned more than once that I saw where he was talking about his meeting with Ditko that it was really weird. That Steve Ditko he sat and he drew and he had all these things and he would go, oh, what's that you're working on? When's that come out? And he's like, that doesn't come out. That's just for me. And so there's this whole body of weird Steve Ditko work that's out there. So whenever I see these independent ones that he put out, I grab them because they are weird. I don't know. And I do like his art. His art is weird. But that's one of those niche things like you were talking about, Gary.
I like his art with Doctor Strange and stuff, but I'll never forgive him for those final issues of ROM and how he just was horrible on ROM. I don't know my favorite series, but he did the last 15 to 20 issues, and man, some of his backgrounds and stuff were great, but I just hated the way he depicted Rom.
I mean, I could see that. He has such a weird style. I prefer his Spider-Man, Silver Age Spider-Man design to almost anybody else's because it's kind of creepy.
Blasphemy.
No,
Right?
no,
It's
no,
John
no,
Romita
no.
Sr.
Senior. It's been nice talking to you.
DC guy.
Bye.
DC guy.
All right, guys, it's been a great show. We really appreciate this, but
He just said the wrong thing, unfortunately.
And you know,
So
and
close.
you only betrayed me twice tonight, and I was like, well, that's okay. This isn't a full Jesus betrayal moment. And then you went with this one, and then I could hear the rooster crow, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be crucified by morning. Damn,
I love Ditko.
it's
And
okay.
it's fine.
but
It's
the
just
you can,
blasphemy-
yeah, no, that's fine. You can love Ditko. You just can't think that Ditko Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man ever.
yeah. No.
Oh, I don't. No, now hold on. I'm not going to say it's the best Spider-Man ever. I just really like the design of it, the way that he draws the suit. I think it's weird and cool. It's definitely
Okay.
not the best ever.
All right, we'll give you a pass then,
But I mean,
because it is weird and cool.
It
and
is
it's
weird
the
and
first,
cool and
it's the
creepy.
first iteration of Spider-Man. Everything else,
Yeah.
but it's not the best.
No,
John
No.
Romita Sr.
That's right.
Mhm. Preach.
All right, great. Nate, great books,
Yeah.
man. That was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
It was great. It was great seeing what you had. Great meeting you, and just learn a little bit of what's important to you and what you love. And,
Way to save it
that
at
was,
the
That was
end.
awesome, huh?
Way to save it at the
Wait,
end.
take
Ah,
this
right?
end.
sorry about the Ditko, everybody.
Yeah, you should have stopped talking. I like Ditko.
I like Ditko.
and that's
He's
it.
a weirdo.
No, I love his Doctor
Mm.
Strange work because it was weird and out there, and his like otherworldly stuff always looks really cool. He just
Oh,
did
yeah.
something weird with Rom. I hated. He put like these little blotches on him all the time. It looked like he had divots in them, and it was just horrible.
What
Yeah,
year
dimples.
was that? Like what
It was
year?
near the end. It was because
Yeah.
I don't remember anymore. Like when I got back into comics as an adult, one of the first things I did was get that whole 75 issue run in the 4 annuals because I'm just a huge Rom Space Knight fan. And read them all the way through, all written by Bill Mantlo. Just a fantastic beginning to end series.
That's what I've always heard. I've never read it. I feel like it's one I should track down.
And it was. I don't know if it's cheap anymore. It was cheap when I put it together. Like near mint copies were just huddled together in the dollar bins and 50-cent bins.
I
So
feel
I put
like
the whole run together for nothing.
I thought I
I'd say
saw
they
that
were
they announced they were doing the Romnibus. Like I thought they put it out as one big book and they called it the Romnibus. I might.
Oh,
have
that's pretty
dreamed
cool.
That.
That is pretty cool.
But yeah,
I
great
swear I
show.
heard
So
that.
we're gonna
Thank
go
you.
around the horn like we usually do, and we'll see what everybody's got coming up. Looks like we'll get to Rob in a second. Jim, we'll start with you.
You know what? I have not been doing a lot of videos. I do a lot of shorts though. I've decided that, even when I go out digging, sometimes I'll shoot a lot of stuff and I'm just like, I'll have enough to put a video together, and I did put a little video together of what I found at this one place, and but then I posted it as a short, and it just does way better. So I don't know, but when books come in, if there's a book that I'm waiting for my JTC books to come in, and I'll probably have a video for that. And yeah, I don't know what else. I got to start thinking of some other
You
stuff.
got to start going again.
Yeah.
All right, and of course, we'll go to Rob and then Cliff. Rob, what's coming up for you, sir?
Thursday, I'll have a video about some package that arrived that turns out it's an order from like 2.5 years ago.
Really?
From Unknown Comics.
We'll figure that one out. And then Saturday, of course, Only Slabs will have patron of comic art. Then no show the following week. At the end of the month, I'll be heading down to WonderCon with the Comic Book Fiend Club and hang out with some other members. They're showing up there, the comic book community. So if you're going to WonderCon, look for me.
Nice. And Cliff, what's coming up for you, sir?
If I could stay conscious tomorrow, new comic book day in the Council of Comics, 8 p.m. Eastern. Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Comics and Cocktails with Cliff with my guest, Joel the Geek. So that's exciting. And then the following week for Comics and Cocktails, it's going to be Black Crown Comics. And then I think I return to Comics and Coffee. And if I can nail down what guest is going to be there, if it wasn't just in the air right now, we'll see. And of course, you can find me on the Council of Comics Sundays at 5 p.m. and Mondays at 8 p.m. and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. And it's all Eastern Standard Time. And then I just post random stuff here, there, everywhere. And I just jump on other people's shows to try to be supportive because I love y'all.
We appreciate it. Coming up for me, I believe I'm still trying to reconfirm if he's going to be on this Thursday. We have Austin Light. So that'll be his second appearance. He's going to be talking about his next Kickstarter book. Then next week on the 25th, we have the first 1011 Erotic Covers edition with Scotty Vaughn.
Woo!
And then Eric from Side Quest Comics making his first appearance on Thursday.
Very cool.
All right. And then kicking off April on the 1st, we have Mark Andrews doing Mark's Toys. MARX, an old toy company that was in the U.S. So he's doing all those old toys, a 1011 of that. And then Big Nasty Comics on that Thursday. So we got a lot of great shows coming up and a lot of fun. And Nate, what's coming up for you, sir?
I will not have a show this Sunday. I'm trying to get a video out before I leave for my vacation. But otherwise, my next planned stream is Sunday 9:30 a.m. With Big Nasty Comics and Up and Atom Comics and Lettuce Comics for our Sunday Comic Book Hangover show. So that's the next thing I got scheduled, but I'll probably get something posted in between now and then.
Nice. And of course, with that, I want to say thank you to my wonderful panel. It's always a great show having some co-hosts with me with different views and questions and perspectives. Rob, thanks for popping in tonight. Really appreciate you being here.
Be back in 2 or 3 months.
Right. Always a pleasure. You know that, buddy. You're a great wingman. Cliff, you're always welcome. All you got to do is say the word like you did tonight and you're in the show. Always appreciate your input and coming by and your perspective. And of course, there's no show without a guest. Nate, thank you for coming on, even though you didn't know me. I reached out. You said yes right away. Thank you so much. Great show, sir. And of course,
love the show. It's super cool. I've been watching them, some of the backlog to get ready. So
nice.
It's a cool format. I really do dig it. So thank you for inviting me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. And of course, thank you to everyone who joined us in the audience tonight. We had a great turnout for you. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate everyone in the chat that was here with us live. And if you're watching on the rewind, we appreciate that as well. Make sure you check out those links in the description below and sub up to everybody. We had a few people that did that tonight. Thank you guys so much. And as we like to end this thing, we're going to say, keep it casual.